Hi, I'm Abby Jones, and welcome back to the Open Door series. If you're new here, this is a place where we can discuss topics and bring in church congregants to join us in these discussions while following later on in a time of worship. This week, our topic is volunteer appreciation, and we've invited Kevin Reeves and Judi Carroll to join us with that today. So let's get started with the Open Door series, episode number 4. Hi there, welcome back to the Open Door series. We are here with our two guests, Kevin and Judi. We're so excited to have y'all this evening.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Since this is a volunteer appreciation episode, we wanted to take two volunteers of the church that are greatly appreciated. And I just wanted to start with asking what, in y'all's eyes, looks like a Sunday morning, but with a twist without volunteers. How would that look, do you think?
Of course, we wouldn't have a bulletin. There wouldn't be words on the screen to sing. We might not be able to hear because the mics aren't working. We wouldn't know where to leave our offering, perhaps. No one would greet us. I just think it would be a sad place without volunteers.
That's right.
It wouldn't be the church.
Yeah.
You really need volunteers for the lifeblood of what the church is all about.
Mm.
The paid staff is there to organize and set things up and run things, but it's the volunteers that really are the backbone of everything that happens.
Right.
Then what positions do y'all happen to do in the church? Maybe elaborate a little more on that.
You want to go first?
Okay. Right now, I'm a Sunday school teacher for, right now we're kind of a combined class. Ever since COVID, we don't have quite as many children coming, so please bring more children and we'll make more classes. We'll find volunteers. But it's like K through 5th. And I have helpers. I mean, we there's 3 of us that teach in that class, and I've been teaching Sunday school in the elementary grades for about 25 years. And so I have seen so many children come through, and they've come through and they've graduated and they've gone to college and they've moved away or they've come back with their families. And, they're just forever in my heart. I get as much out of volunteering to teach as hopefully I'm putting some seeds in their brain and that'll help them go on through. But that's what I do every Sunday. And it's, I've learned about baseball players and Fortnite and
yes, the fun things.
Little girly clashes and, everything you can imagine. But if I can put a Christian spin on any of that as I listen to what they have to say and make them feel like they have a voice at church is the place to talk it out. And this lady here is going to listen to what I had to say, and what she says is going to be something I can remember maybe as I go forward. And I always tell them, y'all know what's right. You're here. You are hearing what we're saying. You got to be the example out there.
Right.
So when the playground's going wrong, you be the one that says, I'm not going to do that. That's not nice. And, just that kind of thing. So it's very rewarding for me. And I've gotten to teach my own grandchildren.
How sweet.
So it's just been the best of both worlds.
How great. I love that. What about you, Kevin?
I've done just about anything that I've been asked if I'm interested in doing as needed, but pretty much a typical Sunday these days is either singing with the choir, singing with the praise team, depending on which service I'm at, and working with sound equipment and things of that type. I'll do a lot of those kinds of things. And in the past, I have taught Sunday school classes and things like that, and when asked to, I'm glad to step up and do that as well. So I'm glad not to do it every single week, because it does get a little tiring at times, but it is good to do that from time to time.
Exactly. We do need breaks. These are important things. When y'all began these positions, did y'all feel equipped to start?
I'm going to think maybe not really, because you didn't really know how you would reach people, how you would explain it, what the classroom would be like. But, we have materials. And, it's based on the Bible, or some story that's for the appropriate age level, So we're equipped in in what materials and things that we're given here at the church. And, I just feel like, God shows you what to do.
Sure.
The circumstance comes up and you maybe have the right word to say or something like that. So I think you don't have to be totally equipped for every circumstance. You don't know what it's going to be.
It's encouraging.
I've figured things out along the way as needed. I'm not musically trained by any means. I know a little bit about chord structures and things like that, a little bit of able to read music, but not in any depth. But I can try to hold a pitch where needed and listen along with other people and, sometimes even come up with a harmony that might sound good, at least try. As far as running the soundboard goes, that's a task that does require a little bit of special training, but I started pretty much with just understanding the basic structure of the way things worked and figured out what I could from there and asked questions as needed and definitely got help where needed.
Well, you two are obviously very respected church volunteers and so greatly appreciated, and y'all are so involved on Sunday mornings, Wednesday evenings, or whatever it may be during the week. But do y'all see any holes that maybe need to be filled in volunteers since there is such a shortage and maybe people are timid to join?
There are always places for people to volunteer. Even with things that seem kind of mundane, that maybe you see somebody's there all the time, whether it's an usher or a Sunday school teacher, things like that. As I mentioned earlier, it's nice to have some time when you're not at the point of doing it all the time. So somebody else who can fill in is a good thing at times. Or even just being able to share back and forth. There have been times when I've taught Sunday school class in tandem with somebody else, and we take a week off. 1 week, one person 1 week, one person the next week, and it makes for a much more enjoyable experience over time. You have somebody you can count on to work with on that. So finding some place where that people definitely have maybe they're a little stressed out because it's a lot of work, or just something that needs to be done. Look for things that you can work at, and there's always places to volunteer.
It's great.
And I agree. Again, if we had the need for more Sunday school classes, we would have the need for more teachers, and we could have more of the age groups divided, because like I say, I have K through 5th. That's a pretty big gap. And so we kind of have to make the material something enough interesting for the 5th graders and easy enough, and we might help the kindergartners with writing their little answers and filling out their papers. But
Sure.
We could always use more, and hopefully have more children come so that we can have lots of classes. And again, it's so rewarding once you get started, and if you have enough, then you don't have to feel like I can't go on vacation and I've got to be there. Someone else will fill in, and I have a great group that works with me, and we support each other if one's gone, and we make it work with no problem at all. But the more the merrier,
That's great.
Yes.
That's great. Do y'all have any encouragement, do you think, that y'all could share with the viewers on maybe if they're struggling with getting involved in ministry, or even timid, feeling they're not equipped or called to it? Is there any encouragement y'all could give them today?
I'd say start by asking somebody that you see in that area and say, what is it you do, and what are some things that I could do to help? Because there's always help needed with whatever the situation is. So ask, what can I do to help? And learn along the way. It's an on-the-job training kind of an experience.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Just, see if there's a need and come and be part of it. I mean, there's always something. And Bible school is another thing. And, if you love children, that's a great way to get your feet wet at that. Come to Bible school. We always need help there. There's a lot of kids there. And then Sunday school and the Wednesday night programs, the youth programs, and there's just endless possibilities.
Right. So I'm hearing all these positive things about being involved with working with a lot of people and with VBS, working with a bunch of kids at the same time. Is there any new relationships y'all think that y'all have gained through this ministry process of just being involved and volunteering?
I do. I think that, the ladies that help me teach are just my best friends. I mean, we exchange birthday and Christmas and, support each other outside of church. And the ladies that were before me, some of the older ladies in the church, I think I learned as much listening to them teach so that I could go forward with things. And so, I mean, I got a lot out of just helping her teach, that now she's not here she's out of the church because of COVID. And so now we've carried on and we're still teaching. And a lot of the material that, in fact, she called me this week and said, how's it going up there? And I'm so sorry we're not able to get there, and it's just a different time. But, we're still rocking along. I mean, I said, COVID had us down for a while, and I hated it when we weren't coming to church. That was the worst period. I mean, you don't know how much you miss getting to come around other people that want to worship and being in the house. But now we're back, and schools are open and stores are open, and so church is open, so
Amen.
And Sunday school is open, and so I'm so happy about that, and so hopefully we'll all stay well, but we'll make it.
That's right.
Paul writes that we're all members of the same body. We all work together to accomplish the task of what the church is for, and it's our purpose to fill in the places where we can. I'm not called to be maybe the pastor, obviously. There are people who do certain tasks that they're called to, and that's great. I want them to be in those positions. But if there's something I can help with, I do. And it's a case of everybody I've ever worked with in any position I've ever tried to work with. The people I've worked with have just been wonderful, wonderful people to be with.
Great. So how do y'all feel being in these positions that y'all have been in for so long? How has that affected your spiritual walk, do you think?
The times that I've taught Sunday school, the amount of extra time that it takes just to think through what the Sunday school lesson's about, what things you need to work with to be able to prepare a lesson to talk with people about, it always enriches me because I've learned so much more about what the Bible says, how it's connected, what things are in there that connect to other things that maybe you don't know if you don't pay attention to those things. That's been a source of blessing for me as a Christian, just to grow spiritually with that. Singing with the choir, singing with the praise team, it's a chance to be a part of a worship experience that you don't get generally but from sitting in the pews. You can sit out there and you can sing along with, but it's so great to actually feel like you're actually there leading the worship in some way. I may not be doing like the music minister, leading the song at the pulpit, but I can at least help a little bit with helping people feel like they're able to worship. And it's a beautiful experience for a Christian.
Yeah. What a gift.
And I have to agree. I mean, anytime you open a material and you read about it and develop what you want to say about it to little listening ears, you're growing. I mean, you're learning, and I just think the words come to you. How to present it comes to you because you're open and you're wanting to pass it on, and it's important, and it's nice to be able to do that. It's a great treat.
That's great. So again, y'all being in these positions, have y'all been able to recognize or distinguish who could possibly even do this job in the future, or possibly give them encouragement to join the team now?
One of the things that I'll do when I'm out in a congregation is listen to people around me and see, is this somebody who just naturally they have a great projecting voice. They have the kind of a voice you'd want to hear with a choir or praise team. And if I hear something like that, I'm like, why don't you consider doing that? It's worth being a part of that kind of an experience. So I've looked for those kinds of things where I can, trying to build up that process where possible. Some of the tasks that are a little bit more technical, stuff like running a soundboard, you don't want to just ask anybody, hey, do you want to sit up and do that? That's a challenge. Mm-hmm. But there are people who have great computer skills or great technical skills, and you might say, hey, would you like to at least learn something about this? And I'm not great at seeing that personally. That's not one of my spiritual gifts, I guess, to encourage others in that direction. But I do try to look for it where I can.
Right. Yeah, well, and I agree. I mean, as far as what I do and with children, I think everybody has potential, whether they know it or not. Again, the materials will be provided, and just grown up that can sit by a child that maybe is having trouble spelling or needs, even, I mean, we have to sometimes take them out to the bathroom or go find their mama or whatever it might be. I mean, again, everybody has the potential to help in that way. Most everybody's been around some kind of child, and they've grown up in a church, and they know what it's about, and we're just relating it in fun ways to the children, so maybe they'll remember it, or maybe they'll enjoy it and think how much fun they had in Sunday school with their little group. I am still best friends with the people that I met at this church when I was in the crib nursery. No kidding. I mean,
sweet.
My friends. I went to the crib nursery with them. I grew up with them in this church forever. And I still see them, and we don't all live in the same town, but we are all still connected in great ways, and we go on girls' trips, and we talk on the phone, and we wish happy birthday, and again, some of them I see every week. And again, we have been friends, and it gives my age away, but for 64 years, so,
Wow.
So, and it started right here at this church. And I guess all churches are that way, you meet your group, your core group, and they move away or they come back or they change churches, but you never, you can always be their friend, and
right.
It's just a great place to put some roots down is at the church.
Right, exactly. What a blessing community is.
Yes, right.
Well, I applaud both of y'all for y'all's participation in volunteering in the church. I know we could talk about things all day long. I have so many more questions, but I think we're running out of time. And so it was so great having y'all. Thank y'all again so much for joining us.
Okay.
And we'll see y'all again hopefully soon.
Okay, and thank you for what you do.
When you give of yourself to volunteer, it is not only a blessing for you and for your children, but it'll be a blessing for me and for my children and for my grandchildren. So take some time, pray about it. Think about how can you give. Maybe you're just going to pray. That's not a just. Prayer is a very vital part of giving of yourself for the generations to come.
Thank you for joining us today on the Open Door series. We hope you continue to tune in to more episodes. Each Wednesday during the month of August, we'll cover different topics. We'll touch on the effects COVID-19 has had on our churches. We'll talk about one of our first Marshall Church missions, which is our ramp building ministry. One episode will discuss how a church might be better prepared to address sensitive issues like depression and anxiety. Later, we'll talk with some of our church volunteers about their role in our church life. And we'll end our month with discussing the importance or lack of importance of the label over the church door when it comes to following Christ. Until our next meeting, may God bless you richly. And if you're looking for a church home, First Methodist Marshall welcomes you for Sunday services at 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. For more information, visit our website at fumcmarshall.org or follow our services on Facebook Live.